People come to Alaska to see wildlife and to see the natural world. It's the last place in the United States where you have these vast ecosystems that are intact. They love to see the grizzlies and the moose and the sheep and the caribou. But without a doubt, the thing people want to see most is a wild wolf. They're the superstar.
Wolves are really bright animals. The old-time Eskimo hunters that I knew all agreed with that. And we're not talking about some mystical thing, we're just talking about they are smart, they solve problems, they evaluate situations, and they're a whole lot like us, which is why, to a great extent, we feel a connection with them.
If you want to talk family values, you know, look at wolves. They mate for life. They're very good parents. The whole pack raises the wolves. They have a very complex structure.
And they are immaculate predators. They're a creature that lives by killing, but that does not make them evil. They're just wolves, and they're a marvelous life form.
When you see a herd of moose or caribou, they will take the weak that cannot run fast as the others and kill them and eat them, but they do not take the best of the herd.
The wolf is a symbol of wilderness. In other states, you know, they're even trying to put them back and transplant them back using public money. Alaska's trying to kill them.
Aerial hunting in Alaska is one of the state's secrets. It is done in secret in places where there is no enforcement, where no one has an idea where these planes are going, where no one has an idea how many wolves are being wounded and lost.
Basically what the deal is you need a low-flying, slow-flying aircraft like a Super Cub.
They often fly in groups of 2 or 3.
There's a pilot, and sitting behind him is a gunner. The door's off, and they're using a shotgun, typically a 12-gauge shotgun.
It's in the winter when they can track them and then see them. Summertime, there's too much brush, so wolves can hide. They can't find them.
You loaf along as slow as 40 or 50 miles an hour, just a little bit faster than the wolves are going. And you're just shooting down onto them, and usually one would hope that they get killed right away, but they often don't. They're getting riddled with buckshot and not dying, and they're biting at their backs and in absolute agony, and there's blood everywhere on the snow. It's not a clean kill.
In many cases, they can't even hit the wolf from the air. It's not that easy. What they do is they chase them until they're totally exhausted, and then they land and shoot them. The wolves can barely even stand up. It's a brutal way to go. And I'm a hunter, and have even done some trapping, but it's just a grim situation.
Many people feel that hunting with an airplane is illegal and always should be illegal. And part of the reason for that is that in Alaska there have been a lot of abuses in the past. In fact, in 1972, Congress passed the Airborne Hunting Act, which prohibited using airplanes to hunt animals. But what's happened now is the state of Alaska has circumvented that act by allowing the use of airplanes to hunt wolves and now bears for the purpose of manipulating predators in order to make more prey animals for ever more hunters. And I think it won't be long before other western states see what Alaska's doing in terms of circumventing the Federal Airborne Hunting Act, and they're going to think they can get away with it too.
Basically in Alaska what we're doing is decimating 1 or 2 species, wolves and bears, in order to artificially inflate 2 other species, moose and caribou.
The people who are getting the permits to do this are private sport hunters who own airplanes. These are not agents of the state or employees of the state who are out managing wildlife. The state's directing people where to go, but they are sport hunters. And it's something that a lot of them very much enjoy doing.
People pretend it's predator control and that they're doing service for the state so that there will be more moose and caribou for everybody. But I think that's a pack of hogwash.
When we look through the names of the people who apply for these permits, these are the same hunters who hunted wolves for sport in years past.
In my opinion, I've seen these guys, I've met them. A lot of it is just thrill killing.
Wolves, fish, and politics. Those are some of the issues voters will tackle come November.
A ban on aerial wolf hunting and congressional term limits are the latest measures to capture enough signatures to potentially make it on the ballot. Each initiative requires more than 21,600 signatures. For the aerial wolf hunting ban, no problem. Organizers turned in more than 33,000.
This aerial gunning in the form of initiatives was brought to the Alaskan public in both 1996 and 2000.
The people of Alaska have really gotten very indignant over this, and the voters twice have turned it down decisively, that they don't want to have this going on, the pursuit of wolves and shooting wolves out of aircraft, or any game for that matter.
Unfortunately, our legislature has had a bad habit of waiting until the ink is dry on a voter-approved initiative and then revoking it.
The effect of those initiatives was only good for 2 years. Then the legislature can come in, overturn it, and we're back to square one.
Here we are again at this point, coming around and having to prove again that the people of Alaska indeed do not want aerial predator control. And it very much feels as if special interest groups are circumventing the will of the people.
2007, we're still using airplanes to hunt down wolves? It's unbelievable.
And it's just a bad bum deal. And I think most Americans would feel that way too.
We've moved back to how things were done, say, in the 1950s, when we didn't have science-based programs, and when we managed wildlife with weak information or no information, and that got some wildlife populations into serious trouble.
It's an idiotic way to approach wildlife management. We don't even have an idea, but there's no numbers out there that exist currently of what the population is of wolves. So to say that we're going to take 80% of the wolf population, or 60, because that number changes all the time, is ridiculous, because how can you do math if you don't have a starting number?
What bothers me is that this is their way to take out large numbers of bears and wolves, and they do everything they possibly can to minimize those numbers so that there'll be more moose and caribou for hunters.
My strong feeling now is that, most of these programs are based primarily on social and political analyses rather than biological analyses, and that's really dangerous because fundamentally these relationships between predators and prey are biological.
The game populations are dependent on us using science to protect them and to protect them over time so that every generation has the same opportunity to hunt and fish that the previous generation has. We have to make sure that science trumps greed.
I think it's wrong. It's unethical. And you can say, oh, well, it's predator control. There's no ethics don't enter into this matter. Of course there's an ethical line. There's an ethical line to everything we do. And I think that aerial hunting of wolves, or predator control, whatever you want to call it, crosses way over that line, and I know a lot of hunters who feel the same way.
My father would say that it's not sportsmanship. I don't think it's very respectful.
You know, there is something called fair chase. And even if it's trying to cull a certain number of predators, there still ought to be the element of fair chase.
I'm married to a hunting guide in Alaska. Hunt to me is about, it's an art as much as it is a sport. It's about knowing an animal and needing to know the biology of an animal and how they move through a landscape so that you can move with them through a landscape, and to know what it means to take an animal's life.
Using airplanes to pursue, to exhaust, to essentially run down an animal is just has no place in this world at this time.
This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only U.S. network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries, and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world.